It keeps me crying, baby, for you. It keeps me crying, baby, for you. So won't you hurry? Come on, girl, and see about me. Come see about me. So Shani, back with another episode of Shani's Lab. So I wanted to come in here and talk about Coko from SWV and her opinions on, today's R&B artists or what have you. So she gave it was like a little panel thing, and it was all the members of SWV, and they were listening to the two girls, Chloe and Holly. It was Tiana Taylor, Jenna Echo, and the girl Queen Naja. So, and they were giving their opinions on, their singing, their abilities, their songs, stuff like that. And Coco was basically saying, a lot of them use a lot of auto tone, and you can't really tell if they're singing or not. And she was also saying that they need to sing more. She was like, they're not really pushing themselves. And, I would have to agree. I think that, today's R&B artists, they lack that discipline. I'm just gonna say they lack the vocals, period, because you don't get the same vibe or the same feeling that you get from a 90s R&B song from people like SWV. Then you do these new artists, and I don't even listen to any of these people that they were commenting on. I did listen to her. I do like her. That was another person they commented on, but a lot of those artists, to me, they're forgettable, to be honest. Um, like to me, Queen Naja is forgettable. Jenna Echo is forgettable. But Coco is not forgettable. Coco is legendary, and SWV is legendary. And I do feel like Coco was qualified, and she was asked her opinion, and she gave it truthfully about what she thinks. I don't. I feel like we shouldn't. Don't ask someone's opinion if you want them to lie. That's pointless. And it's not like she told any lies. I don't think she was being mean or facetious. I think that she was just being honest, and she was honestly saying, it's not there. They don't have it, which is true. They don't have like these. They just don't have it. Like when you hear Coco sing, especially a cappella, when you hear her voice on tracks like Rain and Weak, you know, even the rest of the girls, like you just, it's a different vibe. It's a different feeling. This is a big difference you get from an R&B artist from back then than you do now. Like you just, to me, it's just not there. Like and I'm not gonna say there aren't artists out there now that can, sing, because they do, there are some artists out here who do have, a great style. They do have the voice, they can sing, but they're not being really pushed. You have a lot of these mediocre talents and mediocre singers being pushed. And like Coco said, there's a lot of backtracking, and not basically non-singing. It's just kind of letting the track play and them adding little vocals to a live performance. That's not how you sing. Like think of groups like SWV and Escape and things like that. They really sang. They really sang those songs. you know I just can't see Queen Naja or Jenna Ago pulling off a bomb ass a cappella because they're just not those types of singers. And again, it's not to say that there hasn't always been lower tier singers. It's just these days lower tier singers haven't seemed to be pushed more to the forefront. And I'm just I agree with Coco. I'm glad that she was honest. And I'm glad that somebody from a legendary plateau has stood up because I've always kept saying where are the legends at in music? Like, why is nobody stepping out and saying like, what is going on here? This shit is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous. Like you see how an R&B legend can come out and kind of check what's going on in R&B. The same thing needs to be done for hip hop. A legendary hip hop artist needs to come out and say, and finally put it on the table and say, this shit is not cool. This is not even hip hop. Like what's going on? Like Mayweather said it one time, but he's not a hip hop artist. He's not legendary in the hip hop realm. So his opinion was listened to, but it wasn't taken into no type of consideration because he does not do music. And if you don't influence the culture, if you don't have a hold on the culture, then nobody really cares, right? So I'm really glad, the Coco, but again, I'm glad she was honest, and I'm glad, that, they need to hear, this, maybe they'll push themselves harder, maybe they will sing more, maybe they will show off their vocal talent, if what she's saying is cockamamie, then show and prove. But from what we've heard, from what we've seen, what Coco was saying was, 100% truthful. It's not like she, I don't think she was being mean. I think that was over exaggeration.